my name is Akash Shell. I'm here to present on the technical seminar on the topic Bank Fraud in Digital Transaction. I am here under the guidance of Professor Pratap MS. Here are my contents of the presentation. In the introduction, I'm going to brief out about the cyber crimes committed and the importance of security. And the literature survey, I'm going to mention the observations done on surveying the papers. And in the next, I'm going to brief out about cyber threats and what are the major cyber threats we are facing. Next is the solution implementation, where I've investigated about the algorithms for two major types about fraud reduction and its pros and cons. For next, we'll analyze the result and discuss about the algorithms and compare them. For in next, we are going to conclude with the future work and references. Now, let me start with the introduction. For first, we have to know what is cybercrime. Cybercrime is a criminal activity that targets or uses a computer network, or a network device, accessing anything which is not meant to be accessed at all. Are all cyber
Hello,
criminals. So
hello,
basically, next question, what we get is
hello,
who are cyber criminals? Anything which is
hello.
not meant to be accessed. For example, we have all committed. For the matter of fact, for all of us have committed at least one small cyber crime, which can be we have downloaded papers which are not meant to be accessed. All of them has watched any pirated movies or any, for many most of the things are done by every person, but all of these are negligible because there are a lot of crimes and frauds committed by hackers for the
Hello.
purpose of money and fame. Nowadays, transactions are getting very
అదే
much
బ్రదర్
digitalized, and these
నెక్స్ట్
hackings, how
నేను
it is
ಮಾಡಿయేటా
affecting the banking industry. The nowadays transactions are getting digitalized, but but if we are a victim of any fraudulent activities, we have to manually report and provide proof to the cyber crimes. As you can see in the statistics, in the past year 2020, 8,700 fraud cases have been reported, crossing the limits of 1 lakh. For in the year 2019, and total estimated amount of 715 billion rupees have been frauded and never been recovered. In the year 2020, it has been doubled, that is 1.85 trillion rupees, which is 1.85 lakh crores. It has been not yet recovered because of the frauds committed from the banks and the hackers. So, as the transaction as are getting digitalized, the security must also be automated, and the AI implementation using the machine learning algorithm should be done. These are in the implementational level, and we can see the size of estimation of the fraud detection and prevention in the market worldwide. And this is the estimation they have done. In the year 2020, it's estimated that 28.8 billion US dollars have been saved worldwide by adopting the latest technology. In the year 2022, 41.59 billion US dollars will be saved according to this estimation. Now, coming to the literature survey, the first paper is Internet Banking Fraud Detection using Deep Learning based on Decision Tree and Multi-Layer Perceptron. Here, the observations are the deep learning methods provide greater accuracy as the data size increases. Many other machine learning algorithms face problems when the data set increases, whereas in the deep learning method, it's the reverse. It provides a greater accuracy when we train more and more data. The next paper is the real-time credit card fraud detection using machine learning. Here, the observations are suspicious transactions are uh, able to identify immediately using machine learning algorithms, which is the major problem we are facing. That is detection of crimes then and there itself. The next paper is survey of deep learning based online transaction fraud detection systems. Here, the major observation we have acquired is that deep neural network is achieved greater accuracy than RNN and CNN, especially for the banking data. The next is credit card fraud detection using autoencoder neural network. Autoencoder tech ensures secure transaction without altering the data, unlike Perceptron, whereas the Perceptron averages the number of inputs and give the reduced number of outputs. Next, I'm going to brief out about the cyber threats, what, when, and how it is done. First cyber threat I'm going to tell about is the malware. Malware includes techniques like using spyware, virus, worm, Trojan, keyloggers, and many others. Spywares are used in spying using the camera and microphone, whereas the Trojan, worm, keyloggers are invoked into victims' computer to steal data from. The next is ransomware attacks. It is a method of virtually looking or encrypting data and demanding money in return for information. The next one is a phishing attack. It is a most popular attacks, and they are done by creating fake replicas of sites using phone or email sites and spreading them via phone or email to steal information. As you can see here, the Amazon website is replicated, and the entire URL will be changed than the original. The next is social engineering. This doesn't need any hacking capabilities or talents. It's just that posing themselves as someone close to them and creating emergencies for money. The next one is advanced persistent threat. This happens because of the carelessness of the user by not logging out of the mail through throwing SIM cards or documents outside, and so that the unauthorized person gets an access into their systems or accounts. Now I'm there. As I mentioned, there are so many threats that are happening in cyber crimes, and I have narrowed it down to through two major threats. That is credit card frauds and online banking scams. Uh, Hackers use many methods to steal your card details, such as social media, phishing attacks using malware, etc. These are used illegally online or replicated, or the cards are replicated so that they can be used anywhere without the notice of the user. That another one is the online banking scams. It has been increasing every year, losing huge amount of money. Hackers anonymously detect passwords or interrupt transactions and use it to divert the transactions or steal money from the bank. Here I have taken a small risk in accessing the dark web using virtual private network and the Tor browser. You can see the number of credit cards are sold online, and sometimes the hackers themselves get cheated on by using these websites. The onion domain is onion domain is used for most of the dark web websites. Next is the solution implementation for all these crimes created by hackers. We have you implemented this solution using AI, ML algorithms, and deep neural network. And let us look into the benefits. For first, there cannot be an entire solution, exact solution for the entire system. So that we have to use some of the algorithms which has found um, very much effective for the following instances. The first is the decision trees. These are the machine learning technique that can be used to monitor customers' behavior. Is any suspicious activity is detected from the customer or the any anonymous person, it can immediately get reported to the bank servers or any cybercrime branches. The random forest tree generator is necessary because there will be a lot of decision trees in many of the models, so that we have to avoid overfitting of the decision tree models. That is showing the worst performance in the real-time data, whereas it has well performed in the training data set. The next is the logistic regression. This is mostly used and it is already adapted in some of the banks to monitor transaction status. It returns the 0 or 1 values showing that the transaction is successful or not. Next, coming to the main implementation, that is deep neural network. What does it do? We'll look into it. Deep neural network is then nothing but artificial neural network with many hidden layers. And why do we need deep neural network? Because it is most advanced and powerful technique of all. And the detection accuracy increases with the size of data as it is a deep learning technique. And it contains many hidden layers between input and the output layer. But there has been a problem that representation of the data are sometimes different. So that we have to use the autoencoders, which are necessary for handling a huge number of transactions. What is an autoencoder? It doesn't look as it seems, but autoencoder is used for denoising the data. The noise in the data is nothing but the corrupted data or changing the representation format of the data. For that, to bring all the data into the same level for feeding into a neural network, we have to use an autoencoder. It acts like a multi-level perceptron, and the purpose is to reconstruct its own inputs instead of predicting a target value. We can look into a deep neural network architecture. This represents a simple deep neural network with many hidden layers. This is a neural network encoded with an autoencoder, where we can see the autoencoder has two parts, that is encoder and a decoder, where all the inputs are taken into consideration, and the follow and in the model, the entire data is represented in a format and it is pushed to a decoder so that the entire data sets will be passed to the neural networks. Here we can see the structure of the autoencoder. This input layer shows the data which is full of noise. It is sent to the hidden layer where the autoencoding also takes place, and the total represented format will be pushed to the output layer. And we can see at the right side denoising the autoencoder, which is where the formula represents the cost function of the autoencoder, where M represents the number of input samples. uh, Even though we implement all these technologies and automations into the banking sector, there are some end user safety measures which has to be educated to the people so that there will be a least number of crime rates. Some of the basic do's and don'ts are: we must use a strong password, which is basically known. We have to check URLs for prevent phishing attacks or any farming attacks. Blocking SIM debit and credit cards immediately after losing is one of the major thing to do. Clearing caches after making many payments through laptop or phone is one of the major work you have to do. Keeping Wi-Fi and cards closed, because these days in this era Wi-Fi cards are mostly used in payments where even the pin inserting pin is also not necessary. Hackers have developed some of the gadgets which uses advanced antennas that can even detect the cards even it's placed in a wallet or a pocket. So that keeping the cards enclosed is very much necessary. Reporting any fraud within the 3 days means zero liability of the customers, which means according to the RBI guidelines, any fraud cybercrimes that is reported within 3 days of the uh, 3 days of the fraud committed means zero liability of the customer. The entire liability will be held on the banks. Some of the don'ts are sharing OTP, which we must never do, as they are saying many of the advertisements. Payment using public Wi-Fi is also some technique used by the Wi-Fi owner to steal the credentials of the bank. Also, uploading bank details to the cloud is one of the major problem facing today, because according to the survey, many of the details are stolen from the Google Drive and some of other clouds. So sharing bank details through social media is an easy access to the hacker to get information about. Let us look about some of the case studies. According to the UK report, in 2016, they have lost many of the payment cards, and remote banking checks resulted in in a big amount, that is 768.8 million, with an increase of 2% compared to 2015. At the same time, adopting the technology has prevented the total fraud, that is 1.38 pounds in 2016. uh, the anti-fraud measures taken, which is the software implementation, that card companies help save them 6.40 pounds in every 10 pounds attempted in fraud transactions. They are some of the American banks that have already implemented some of the machine learning algorithms and they are still investing on. And the first unauthorized transaction took place at 15/12/2008, and after 3 working days, the notified the the unauthorized transactions were notified by the customer, and from that time uh, all the liability should be according to RBI. They announced that all the liability should be held by the bank, even though there is a fault by a system, if the person reports the fraud in 3 working days. Here are some of the advantages and disadvantages. In advantages, the major advantage is the immediate detection of crime that can solve the majority of the cases. The major fault till we have done till now we have done is giving time to the hacker to escape. Another advantage is to help protecting organizations from existing cyber threats and identify new types of malware. Also, usage of machine learning algorithms tends to develop with hackers' new techniques, and use of deep neural network with autoencoder prevents the third person from interrupting transactions and stealing data. Some of the disadvantages are report of false positive cases, and those are the machine errors, but that leads to the actions on false people who are innocent. Banks, by overriding the software, can still commit crimes. For that, another some of the other security measures must be taken by from the bank. Complexity in feeding big data, having various formats from very much long ago. There will be various formats of representation of transactions data and many others, which will be a complex task in feeding it to the software for representation. Here we analyze the result. It is evident from the survey, and yeah. and the study that review that the datasets have been used by the researchers are not publicly available for conducting projects, and the features of datasets used in research have not been revealed. Also, in some of the research works, results published are not yet complete. Also, the other neural networks has significantly shown less results than this method, that is deep neural networks. Hence, it leads to hindrance that further research in this domain. Deep learning techniques are not much explored in fraud detection today. The next table I'm going to show is the research work on transactions done with deep neural networks. These are the research works that are done over the year from 1997 to 2018. All of this has used a neural network and combined with some other algorithms. And we can see that it has achieved 96, 94, and 98% of performance measure, which is comparatively less when it's done with using RNN and CNN. I'm going to conclude the presentation by telling artificial intelligence and machine learning in the financial sector can make this organization more profitable and increase client trust. Also, for however this to happen, our AI solution must be developed by a competent team of specialists. Also, deep learning techniques have shown very significant results, as very few researchers have worked on this area, which have worked and not provided complete details about datasets, features used, and the result achieved by them. Immediate fraud detection in online transactions is a dynamic field of research, as the fraudsters invent new techniques to perform fraudulent transactions, which seem to be genuine but which cause losses to business. Coming to future scope, in future work, a real-time fraud detection model must be developed using deep learning techniques for the detection of fraudulent transactions, which will be helpful for financial organizations to avoid financial losses. In addition to the deep learning technique, algorithms like decision tree learning, random forest, logistic regression, that can be implemented to the applications or servers that uses online transaction and ATMs, that which increases security in ATMs, UPI transactions, card transfers, and online banking systems. I conclude my seminar by saying this. These are my references. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, Akash,
Yes, sir.
you did not speak much about your approach, which your way of addressing this issue.
So you mean deep neural
Yes, yes.
network with autoencoder is the approach which I have uh, proposed, sir.
How many layers you have planned?
In deep neural network, there will be more hidden layers. Like in normal artificial neural network, there will be only one hidden layer. Using deep neural network will have many hidden layers which cannot be which
Have you calculated the weightage of every node here in this neural network?
uh,
How you are planning to find those values, weights?
as we cannot get access to real data sets, I have noted down the like approaches done by the researchers.
But data set for your neural network, what you will do? Because you cannot give some one or two data set,
Yes, sir.
your own created the data set.
Yes, sir.
The deep learning data sets must be of bigger size for good accuracy.
Yes, sir.
So how you are planning to give data set for your techniques?
Yes, either we have to get authorization by getting the generate uh, uh, generate the data set by using another random value generator.
But that is not the right approach.
Yes,
I
sir.
try to get real data set.
Yes, sir.
Maybe if you approach some friends, with, some people,
Yes, sir.
tell them, will you go
Sir, your voice is breaking. So, pardon.
thank No, you have specified that 95.6% accuracy has been achieved already. In one of the
Yes, sir.
slide, I saw the accuracy achieved by one of the
Yes, sir.
researcher as 95.6. So without data set,
Yes, sir.
how you can expect more accuracy for your method? No, no. How
Sir,
you are?
I
Yeah,
was
here
very,
96. Now, if you are coming out, are you planning for higher accuracy or some? See, in the last row, 98.04%.
yes, sir.
Okay. But if you stick on to only accuracy, already 96.34 is achieved by someone. Now, can
Yes, sir.
you achieve more than that without data set?
So they have taken data sets which are past data sets, and my proposal is to develop a real-time fraud detection model. So that and if any suspicious activity is done from any application or ATMs or banks, immediately the suspicious report should be listed down or sent to the cybercrime branch. That is the major drawback we are facing even today.
Right. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Akash, you said about random forest and decision trees, no?
Yes, ma'am.
But then you could have explained how it will be used in detecting frauds, because technical content I thought it was very less. Okay, so you could have taken one suggestion. Could have taken one example to show how the branches of the um, random forest or the decision trees are going to be used to detect frauds.
Yeah, okay. For decision trees, like if we implement it in any UPI transaction online banking system,
Mm-hmm.
any suspicious activity will have more than one attempts.
Okay.
There will be so much of failed transactions, so much of unauthorized attempts, and other things. There's all those actions can be monitored and will be learned continuously by the model also, so that
Correct.
any suspicious activity performed by the next time using any malware or phishing attacks can be immediately detected by the software itself.
Yeah, basically what happens is in the different branches of your decision tree.
Yes,
Okay, so in case if it is a fraud, it is going to just take
going
the
to
path of one of the branches and it is just
branches.
going to come to one label. Okay, that it is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
fraud.
Yes.
Simply one case study or something you could have taken and you could have shown that how a particular transaction was detected as fraud. What was the series of events in that branches which led to that conclusion as fraud. So if you had told that, it would become more interesting.
Yes, ma'am. But I concentrated more on deep neural network. But I just thought I compared all the algorithms for monitoring customer behavior and avoiding overfitting and monitoring transactions. And I found out that these three algorithms are very much suitable. So, as I had to explain deep neural network, I just mentioned this briefly.
Okay, fine. Okay. From my end, it is that much only. So if you next, you can take other questions.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So I'll can the next candidate can present. Okay, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.